Welcome back to Cape Canaveral. We are about 4 months into our first year, and last time we managed to send up no less than 7 sounding rockets. 2 of them were actually successful, which is partly due to issues with test flight. So let's see where we are now. We've got nothing building in the VAB, and we should have our X1 plane building here in the space plane hangar. It's done in 26 days. Okay, let's see what we got for contracts. Well, breaking the sound barrier crude, well, that's going to be taken care of by our X-plane. We've got sounding rocket medium, which should be not a big problem. Well, actually it should be 330. Might be doable with our Mjolnir 1C that we designed last time, the elongated Mjolnir 1B stage, or stretched, whatever you'd call it. But yeah, I'm not so certain, so we need to figure out something to get us higher up. Also, of course, we want those altitude records and speed records, and we should be able to get them. The first artificial satellite is still some way away. Exactly how far away? Well, 83 days, and then probably another 60, 70 days to build a rocket for it, so 4 or 5 months. Do you have any upgrades from completing anything? No, we don't. Okay. Well, what we do have, what I remember from last time, is that we're now able to take the strategy to boldly go. This is, of course, Strategia by Nightingale. It's not made for RP-0, but some of it should work. It may upset the funds balance a bit, but then again, I'm not entirely sure that RP-0 is balanced that heavily around funds. It's mainly balanced around other things, such as just the sheer difficulty of doing things and the time it takes to research things and send up stuff and build stuff. But yeah, for example, in time, the Apollo program, I mean, the advance isn't too high, the reward's not exactly either, but this is the big kicker: 400% funds to milestone gains for the moon, and minus 80% funds to milestone gains for other bodies. But of course we're going to do moon probes first. But first of all, to boldly go, 15,000 funds when science transmitted or recovered from new biomes. Well, so far, we have grasslands at least. No, that's science archives here. See, we've done some, if we take the temperature is biome specific, so let's have a look at that. Grasslands. Yes, we have grasslands. We only have grasslands. Of course, these, well, here's the deal. They give no science. I'm sure I could abuse it to get money from it with Strategia, but I'm not going to. But however, we do have different parts, different biomes around where we are now. We just need to get to them. We got coast and ocean around here, and we just need to get from either lower atmosphere or upper atmosphere, or lower space or upper space. We can't go into upper space yet. That's past a geostationary orbit of about 36,000 kilometers, so no point in that. But what we want is money and science. So that's one thing we want. We want money and science. We might as well pick up the strategy right now. It'll cost us 15,000. That's okay, but it's going to give us a lot more. Yes, we will take it. Okay, so that means we need to get science from various biomes. Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to do that by making a new mission, the SR8, which is also going to be launched on the Mjolnir 1C. The mission goals for this one is to get thermometer data, temperature, from shores and ocean. So if we start building it a bit like, well, it's built on the SR4, it's the same one. Well, the Mjolnir 1C is the used for the SR4. But what we're going to do is we're going to angle it ever so slightly. So if we take the root part here, and no, we don't want angle snap. And then we're just going to angle it ever. Oh, that's a bit much. Probably like so. Might even be a lot, but let's just say that's okay for now. You'll be the SR8, and you'll be saved. I guess I should see if it's too much, so I'm going to simulate it. Yes, I'm going to simulate it. 10 minutes. No, I'm actually going to take. I don't want 20 minutes because it's going to take a while before it gets up and gets down as well. So let's go for a sim here. See if we can get the shores and the ocean, and that's. We want them at least for low and high atmosphere, and it's supposed to also get low space. And if you can hear me typing on the keyboard, that's me updating my mission log. I like to do that. Yes, attitude adjustment. No, I don't want that. We're going to disable part failures to just see what will happen when eventually everything's going to be alright. As you can see over here, I made some additions to my custom window info. Perhaps I want to have a timer at some point, so I added that, the downrange distance, just to see how far I get away actually. I did test one of the sounding rockets earlier, actually this one, going straight up, and it only landed like 5 kilometers away. We need to get further away, so that's why we angled it. But the thing that we really need here is the dynamic pressure. The threshold for far to say high dynamic pressure here is 40 kilopascals. That's quite something. And if we check, for example, if you use ascent guidance from a JEP, it'll actually limit Q to only 20 kilopascals if you check that box. So this one's really suffering from very high dynamic pressure. Terminal velocity, just to show you also that we're actually going to pass the terminal velocity pretty early on. And the speed of sound, just because it's a good fun. So, but we're ready to test this one, so let's just do it. Spinning up, it wants to. Does it want to straighten out or not? Look down here, it does seem to. But no, we see we are already moving downrange quite a lot up here, we can see that. Now if you look at dynamic pressure, we're going to go into high dynamic pressure very soon. We can also see the wind around it here. It's suffering very badly. But it's not actually too bad, maybe because I angled it? I'm not sure. In all my tests it managed to get above 40. Or maybe that was actually because I tested the Mjolnir 1B, which is the one with the only 50-second burn time and the starting thrust to weight ratio of 2.4. So no, we're not going to get into very high dynamic pressure. We're maintaining a steady around 81 degrees, 81 degree pitch, which means we're actually going to go away from, yeah, see. I'm just going to move this one. See, we're still over the Earth's grasslands. And our apoapsis is calculated. We've got 9 seconds, 8 seconds left on this burn time. Are we going to make it into space? 5 seconds. Yes, we are. See, this is good. But yeah, it's tumbling a bit now, but we don't really care. See, it's still going to make it pretty high there. 180. That is if the engine doesn't break down. So, now we're in shores. That's going to give us some money. Now this is of course just a simulation. It doesn't matter. Also, yes, I need to change something before I build it. I need to remove the barometer because the barometer is not biome specific. It's, what is it called? Situation or scenario specific. In that we've already, instead of going over, well, instead of triggering from, for example, Earth's shores, it triggers instead from lower atmosphere, upper atmosphere, lower space, higher space. So it's pointless to have here. In fact, next time we can use it is when we go into space high above the Earth, and that's going to be a while. What's this? Oh, uncrewed speed record of 1500 meters per second. Yes, that will sort that one as well. It'll also get 160 and 180 kilometers. We're just going to time warp ahead to see if we get out over the ocean, because that would be really nice if we did. But see, the thing is, we're just going to slow down here. Okay, let's check the map. Of course, it's dark, can't see anything. But we should be over the water now and actually access grasslands. There is some biome stuff going on that's not... well, it's a bit silly, basically. But... oh. Yes, we're also going to get water. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so... well, nothing to say except this is a perfect rocket for the job, provided that the engine doesn't break down. We are running it around 50% past its normal burn time, rated burn time. So, yeah. Okay, well, as I said, what we're going to do is just going to take the nose cone off here, because hiding in here is a press mat barometer, which is useless. We're going to remove it, and we're just going to take the thermometer and try and put it in the center. Probably doesn't matter too much, but I like to do it anyway. Okay, let's save this. Let's build it. Okay, so this will sort shores and ocean, and that's good. 16 days to build, yeah, it's the usual. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But what we're also going to do I'm just going to see here, slightly tilt east, because that's what it's got. Okay, what we're also going to do is, I don't know, you could call it cheating or you couldn't. It's up to you, basically. What we're going to do is... this won't be the only rocket we're building. We're going to build at least 3. Okay, where are we? This is the Skuru. Ah, there we are. Okay, Canaveral, which means that this is Vandenberg. Okay, right next to Vandenberg is desert. And a bit further away is mountains. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get the mountains, but we're going to try. Okay. Now the deal is, I don't actually know which way this is facing. I don't know if this is in true north-south, and I don't know how to check it. But, well, actually looking at it, this looks... just eyeballing it, somewhere over here might be the desert and the mountains. It sure won't work if we... so yeah, if we tilt it to go that way, so basically if we just tilt it the same as we just did the SR8, we should be good to go. So the SR9 is saying only at 1C as well. It's going to get temperature from... I don't know, do we get highlands here? I don't know, but it's going to get temperature from desert. Low and high atmosphere and low space. And we crashed. And I don't like that. So let's pause it and see what we get. Okay, that was a bit of an annoying crash, which actually came about because KSP was using more than 16 gigabytes of memory, which it apparently can't. but I've lowered texture resolution for a real solar system, and uninstalled a couple of mods that I actually wasn't using, so hopefully we should be better off now. We are still at Vandenberg, and we agreed that just going what it seems, well, going this way basically from over here, so just tilting it this way should be enough, I think, or maybe not. Maybe I want it tilted to go that way. Yes, I think I do actually. So basically what I want is the exact same as the SR9. So if we just go and we load the VAB, and this time we pray that it properly loads. KSP says it's only using 7.4, 7.3 gigabytes. So it should be okay, hopefully. Let's see, there we go. Alright, it's not supposed to be called SR8, it's supposed to be called SR9. I seem to have made a mistake. Well. And again, we are only using the temperature thingy. There's no point in using the barometer because we can't use it, and it's slightly tilted. It's all good. We are going to build it here now. See, it's going to take 70 days here because we haven't invested at all in the build line here, and we're not going to for at least a while. We're not going to be using Vandenberg for much more than sounding rockets. Polar launches, which is for anything that needs to scan the Earth or need to catch every biome, will be done from Kodiak in Alaska. So we're gonna invest a bit into that at some point, but not yet. Let's just build this, and oh yes, of course it is called the SR8 because that is the SR8. The SR9 is the one from Vandenberg, so I just need to rename it, and I'll do that. There we go, V8B, rename SR9. Go save, okay. Let's go, why does the VAB highlight? I don't know. I should hopefully still into the right thing. Oh yeah, let's see, 69 days on top of where we are now. Seems like it's about year 1, day 193-ish. Right, we are getting into the VAB. I don't want to get into the VAB. 69 days, 7 hours. Again, just filling out the mission log, also with expected launch dates. Right, there we go. That's better. Let's switch sites to Kodiak, and Kodiak we just want polar, because that's basically all we can get up there, but that's okay. Let's find it up here. Kodiak. And we'll build the SR10 up there. The SR10 will have this will also be a Mjolnir 1C. In this case we won't tilt it because we just want to go straight up. It's supposed to get temperature from well, low and high atmosphere and low space over the poles. So while we load, yeah, and yeah, we can base it on the SR8. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our rotation tool and hit here, and we're going to press space to reset it all, and there we go, lovely, pointing upwards. And you are, of course, well, still since this is tilted, you are a new rocket. You're the SR10. We're going to save you, and we're going to build you. It's also going to take 69 days and 7 hours here, so it'll be launching around the same time, which should be around year 1, day 193. Now, this takes care of one of the things we want to do, which is get more science from various biomes, partly to get the actual science, but also to get the money from Strategia and the to boldly go strategy. We have a couple more things we want to do. There's Cape Canaveral, let's go back. We want to go higher up because we got contracts saying over 300 kilometers and our current rocket probably not going to do that, especially not when it's tilted like now. So we're going to design a new one. We're going to design, and this is going to change a bit, so this is going to be the Mjolnir 2. We might as well design the Mjolnir 3 while we're at it as well, just because we can. But the Mjolnir 2 is going to be a variant of the Mjolnir 1 series, which means it'll still used to be a WAC Corporal. But what I want is, I want to change a few things, first of all. First of all, off you go. No, actually, let's remove launch tower first. Off you go. Hello, Mr. Launch Tower. Why can't I really seem to want to do anything? Okay. Yeah. Well, it's there then. I don't mind. Also going to remove the booster. There, yeah, okay. So if we look at this rocket here, it's only 0.4 meters in the bottom, but if we widen it a bit, 0.6 might do it. Because what I want is I want 3 WAC corporals on the bottom here, so 1, 2, 3. Wait. It is a bit laggy, I admit that. Let's just raise the height of this bugger here. Go down, fetch our engine. Hopefully we can see it from the bottom here. So there we go, that should be 3. Okay. So with 3 rockets, well, now it's only 42 seconds burn time, so we can actually stretch it. Stretch. There we go, 44, 46, 50. Now we're back to the rated burn time. And we got a lot more Delta V. Delta V 3354. Well, yes, but we also got this. We got these 3 to fit. And then we see that, do they clip into each other? Yes, they do, ever so slightly. Gonna move them out just a tad. Like so, perhaps? Yeah. Like so, okay, so 36.27 meters per second, and this is at the rated burn time. That's looking pretty good. Let's take a guess. If I'm to take a guess, I'm going to say about 500, more than 500 kilometers. This is fast this will go. And we're pointing straight up, everything's good. You are going to be the SR-11, by the way. And we're going to save the stage as well as the Mjolnir 2. Just need to, let's get it down a bit. Like so. And let's sort our launch clamps. I don't think we want 3 launch clamps. We only want 1. Like so. This is good, yeah. Doesn't look super, but it'll do. It'll do for what we want. Doesn't matter if it looks a bit odd. Okay, let's go and save a sub-assembler here. That's the Mjolnir 2. Okay. Now, because we got 3 engines, we have a higher chance of failure, and if just 1 engine fails, we're in trouble, because then our thrust will be asymmetrical and it's going to tumble something rotten. So this is a bit of a dodgy design, but still it's a very, very cheap. Update the build cost here, say 21 days is still very fast to build. We're going to simulate it and see how far can we actually get with this thing as it is right now. Yes, let's just simulate. And this is at the rated burn time of 50 seconds. The rated burn time for the WAC Corporal. Okay, pretending everything goes well, and it should do at least at one point. We don't know when, but if we launch enough, it'll sooner or later be okay. This is what we'll get, so let's just launch it and see how far high it can get up. And stage. There we go. It has a very high thrust to weight ratio. You can see we're already suffering very high dynamic pressure, which means we're going to get a huge drag loss here. Zoom out a bit because those engines are very, very noisy. This is mad. 80. Oof. It's got, well, an awful lot of thrust to weight ratio. So the question is, how far is it actually going to go, because it's losing so much to drag. The only now is dynamic pressure dropping, but it's going to be a while before it gets low enough to be actually proper. Also, it's still way past terminal velocity. There we go. Finally nominal, but we only got 10 seconds left of burn time. Let's see how far it'll go. Really, with this much delta V, it should be going further than this, but we're losing so much to drag because of that very high thrust. See, there we go, we're burning out 350. That's not looking very good. I don't really like the idea of this. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to build one of these, because this will have a higher chance of surviving compared to when we stretch it and go for a higher burn time. And it'll still get us pretty high, and we need to get up there. 350 kilometers is fine. That'll take care of most of the sounding rocket. Is it low or medium? Medium probably. Contracts. Yeah, we've broken an awful lot of stuff. Records, that is, and super rocket as well. But let's revert to the editor. But yeah, it's got surface level thrust to weight ratio of 3 right off the get-go, which is an awful lot. The weight is 1.75 tons. We are going to build the SR11. SR11, there we go. It's going to be a Mjolnir 2. And it's going to go to 340 kilometers. And it'll be launched from the KSC in time. Okay, but what we're going to do now is straight away, we're going to build it. The SR11, there we go. And we're going to build it. Okay. Might as well queue up some sounding rockets, it doesn't matter. We're also going to build the SR12, which will be based on the Mjolnir 2A, where we stretch it. So we're going to stretch it up, and we're going to go for about 75 seconds again. Which is 1:15, there we go. Burn time here. The thrust to weight ratio right on the edge there, but it might have a chance of surviving. Yes, this is the Mjolnir 2A rocket for the SR-12 mission. Just filling out my usual things here. So We save this and we go and yes, let's just simulate this and see how far will this go. Because now we suddenly have 4,000 and we're not going to suffer nearly as much from that high dynamic pressure. So let's see how far we can get. It's also 2 tons. Okay, again we're going to do disable part failures. We want to see what's the theoretical maximum if everything goes okay. So let's just launch it and get away with it. Oops, let's check, yeah. There we go. And stage. Wee bit wobbly, but it's righted itself, that's good. Zoom out away from this noise. You can only just see the flame, but that's the way it is. Yeah, dynamic pressure's getting close to 50 now. It is suffering, but it's not nearly as much as the other one did. And the atmospheric density's dropping. Well, the pressure here. So it's dropping again, the dynamic pressure, and we'll soon be out of it, with plenty of burn time left. I have every confidence that this will reach 600 kilometers. Yes? We've still got over 2,000 meters per second of delta V. Really shouldn't be an issue. Now, our pitch isn't entirely up, but that's okay, it's not deviating too much. Seems that we're going a bit south. How far are we away? 3 kilometers downrange from the space center. That's okay. Over the Earth's shores, it's fine. See, we're already at 400 and we got lots of delta V to go. 500. Well, 532. I could just... well, I can't. The only way I can reduce our thrust to weight ratio is by adding ballast, and that's just going to lower our delta V. So it won't really make any sense whatsoever. But still, this is okay. This is okay. It'll go to 530 kilometers, that's fine. Revert to the editor. It'll bring another record or two. So we're fine with this. Let's add the Mjolnir 2A stage, or, well, sub-assembly here. Yep, there we go. Just in case we need it for something else at some point. We're probably not going to need it for something else at some point, but, well, here we have it. Find, save, and build. Okay. Right, that gives us a few sounding rockets to play with, but we might build another one. Uncertain. Okay, well, yeah, I've decided that since we're designing rockets now, we might as well design some more rockets. And what we're going to do is, no, we're not going to save this, go away. I'm a bit concerned about the the reliability of the Mjolnir 2A that we just designed. So we're going to go and we're going to base something off the Mjolnir 1C, which, let's see, which did we have that was launched on the Mjolnir 1C? That's normal. That would be the SR7, which was the same as the SR4. So it's, see, it looks like this very simple little thing, but let's do something more to it. First of all, let's get it up a bit, like so, and then let's remove it. It has so much thrust to weight ratio, and I'm thinking let's try and stick a tiny Tim up here. Oh, there we go. That'll add another 400 meters per second to it, and we're going to thrust limit it to, well, actually it's got an awful lot of thrust. I'm going to thrust limit it to 10%, like so, and then might be able to just get away with a normal decoupler here and still maintain some sort of aerodynamic stability and not use an interstage adapter. So structural decoupler, procedural, yes, and we want it down to 0.3. Okay, like so, and then sticking our normal Mjolnir 1C under it, and also checking to see, okay, what's this? No, this one here along with this one, and then finally we got this one and this one. They'll fire at the same time. Right, and that's why we say, well, yes, but that tiny Tim here weighs too much. It weighs 300 kilograms, okay, that is perhaps too much. So basing it off of this makes no sense, so let's not do that. Let's base it off the Mjolnir 2 instead. Let's not bother saving this. Which used the Mjolnir 2? The SI-11 used the Mjolnir 2. Oh, there it is. 11, yeah, there we go. This is one thing we're going to try. Because this has oodles of thrust to weight ratio. So, if we take a tiny Tim here, let's just, for a laugh, try to sit this one on here and drag our staging around just to see how it works now. 2100 meters per second. So no, as you see, that's just not going to work. That's not going to work at all. Not the least bit. The thrust to weight ratio is still fine, but it's just that it doesn't give us enough kick. Not for the bang for the buck. We don't get any bang for the buck. So what about we do something else then? Again, let's go back to the SR4. This is the Mjolnir 1C stage. Let's say, well, who needs this anyways? Go away. Fins? Don't really need them. Not at all. Oh no. What we do need is aerodynamics. We need an interstage adapter down here. But we don't need it to be this big. See, the bottom is 0.4. So let's just make it 0.4. There we go, base and top, and 1, 2, 3. 0.4 and 0.4, and the height of the stage fairings is going to be quite low, probably 0.3 perhaps. Have a look. Now what we need to do after doing this is we actually need to drag it up with the offset tool, and we can see that no, that's not enough. So height 0.4. Let's try again. See? Yes, that'll do. That'll do nicely. Also, one more thing, we don't want 4 nodes. That's too much. Just 2 nodes. Let's haul the whole thing a bit up, and then let's attach a Mjolnir 2 stage to it. There we go. so, and we're going to change it a bit. Now, we need to shuffle the staging around, first of all. What have we got here? Yes, okay, so shuffle this one around here, and here, and we want the interstage adapter to fire along with the top engine. See, so like this. So what we want is, we're still going for the 50-second burn time, but as you can see it's just a bit off now. We went for a 0.4 and this is 0.3. If we do this, then yeah, we add a lot more time. We add 10 seconds, so we're going to reduce the length a bit, like so, 49, 2250 then. So that should be exactly 50 seconds. There we go. So what we got now is, we got something which is going to be probably within regulations. We could reduce this one and say, yes, let's do that and have both of them burn for 50 seconds. Yeah, just a bit longer. 155, no, yeah, there we go. And that will give us 4,631 meters per second, and it's still quite a high thrust to weight ratio. So we are going to run into some dynamic pressure issues, but it's going to be an awful lot less than the original Mjolnir 2A. So if we're going to call this the SR13, like so, and we're going to add some aerodynamics, here we go. Let's just, well, any fairing will do really. There we go. Symmetry, and there we go. Can I get some better textures than these? Previous. I really wanted some Atlas textures to look like this, but seems not. We're just going to go with these white ones. Doesn't exactly look amazing, but at least it looks. So, well, wait, that was not intentional. And also, of course, shrouds moving here. So they fire along with the interstage adapter and the engine, of course. And still our thrust to weight ratio of the booster stage is fine as well. So everything's actually looking pretty good. Down to 4628 meters per second once we add the fairings, because they weigh a bit. But yeah, max acceleration is going to be about 8 Gs. Yeah. Doesn't really... I think this looks pretty good for this... Now for the exact launch stage, well, why don't we just call it a... Let's call this a Mjolnir 3. I mean, we're in the design zone now, might as well keep going. But, nope, no mirror. There we go. Okay. You are to be the Mjolnir 3. I'm not going to test fly this because I've test flown both the stages. I know the work. I know that with this thrust to weight ratio, the fins should work as well. So everything's good, except it's probably not, because I probably have the press mat barometer up here. Yes, I do. Yes, and I don't want that. Go away. Oh, I only want the thermometer. Well, actually, I don't even want the thermometer, because we already got that. This just basically won't have a payload. And thing, there we go. Okay, save it. And let's just build it, basically. Well, in a bit, I'm just going to do my bookkeeping here. Mjolnir 3, Weighs a full 2 tons as well. Also the Mjolnir 2A actually. The sounding rocket, yes. And 3 fins, slightly rotated. It's using 3 tiny Tims and 3 WAC corporals and another 1 XWAC corporal for 50 seconds at plus 52. There we go. This is of course all publicly available in the mission log that I'm keeping. So SR-13 is going to be launching on the Mjolnir 3 and basically I don't have a mission description for this, but let's just say 800 kilometers because that seems more than possible. Okay, right. To actually build it, we probably didn't. Let's just do that. Let's also go out and let's edit the SR-11 and the SR-12 because we can do that even though we started building them because we don't want the thermometer on it, and it might also have a barometer because I based it on the SR-4 mission, and probably not a good idea. So we can see here. Let's just type in when they're supposed to be due. SR8 is in 16 days, well, so that's 17 days, so that's year 1, day 140, and after that we've got another 21 days, that's year 1, day 161, and year 1, day 182, and finally year 1, day 204. Yes. Look at the tech, let's see, 83 days, and if we add all of these up, 63, 64, 80 days. So we actually got a bit of time to squeeze something in. We might even upgrade the VIB to do a bit more speed, be a bit more speedy, but basically what this says is about the time that we have done all these sounding rockets, we should be ready for early orbital rocketry, which is great. But I'm in the design mood, so I'm going to design the Mjolnir 4 as well. If it's worth designing, but we're going to try. Come on, VAB, do load, please. There we go, okay. So again, we're going to base it off the SR4 mission, which had the rated burn time of 50 seconds. Oh, I was going to edit all of them. I'll do that later on. Never mind that. We're gonna ditch these. Well, there we go. Off you go, off you go, off you go. The SR-14. Okay, and back on with the nose cone. And then let's lift you very, very high. So it's going to be fun. Zoom out. Launch clamps away a bit. Remove this bit altogether. And let's actually let's not base it off the SR-4 because that's a bit silly. Let's base it off the SR-13 that we just had our hands on. Because basically what we're going to do is just replace everything except the top stage. I could have just kept the fuel tank, but I didn't. Never mind that. Okay. Cone. Make it a lovely Atlas. And let's stick an A4 engine on it. There we go. Looks great, doesn't it? Well, looks like the bottom needs to go be a bit wider. Looks like the top has to be a bit shorter, and looks like it has to be an awful lot longer. Now let's just check the A4. It's not pressure fed, no. So Yeah, we don't need a fuselage, we can go with structural, and we can fill it with, here we go, ethanol, liquid oxygen, and HTP. And then we can make it very long, but first of all we need to check, what does test flight say? 70 seconds. Well, make it longer then. Let's make it burn for 70 seconds. And 1 minute and 7. 1 minute and 10. Okay. Well, isn't she a beauty? Yeah, sorry for the cough. It looks a bit interesting. But this will actually do it. And as you can see, wow, nearly 6,500. Of course, we still need to fiddle with a few things. First of all, we're gonna need some winglets. Fins. I'm gonna go with 4. It does have a pretty high thrust to weight ratio, so it is going to get a lot of high dynamic pressure, but let's hope it doesn't wobble. We're going to test it, of course, because this is completely new design. And then we see, ooh, these are very small for this one. Perhaps we should rescale them at 150. 150 looks good. Let's just hoist them up a bit. There we go, and let's rotate them. I want this one to be rotated. And this so slightly. This might be enough, yes. But this is a big rocket. This isn't your little 2-ton rocket or 700-kilogram rocket. This is 11.5 tons. So this isn't going to do it alone. We need more than this. Oh yes, we need more than this. What we need is something to spin it up even faster than those fins can do. And what we got? Operation motors. Oh yes. We got 4 of them. So let's fit them here, like so. And then let's rotate them, like so. So when we fire these, they're going to spin up our rocket. Which is also why I'm using the A4 without the boat tail, because if I was using the boat tail, I wouldn't be able to spin it. So this is basically an artificial way of boosting the spinning. But it works. Well, it has done earlier at least. They're not going to be the first ones to be fired off, I can definitely guarantee you that. We're going to fire them off shortly after we ignite the engine. And there we go. So what we need now is of course some launch stability enhancers. I'm probably going to go with these now. Not 4 of them, that's a bit much. 2 of them should suffice. Yeah, let's just enable angle snap again. No, I still don't want 4, I just want 2. Right here. Yes. Okay. And because this is a proper engine, it's going to need a bit of time to spool up. So we're going to fire the engine and then we're going to release it. And this is the SL14. Yes, I want to overwrite it. What I created for before. Silly. And this is just going to go up and up and up and up and up. How far up? I don't know. 2,000? 3,000 kilometers? I don't know. We can sim it. It's still pretty cheap, 328. Should allow us to get some of the contracts for flying high. What's it called? Sounding rocket high. Yes, it is supposed to be able to do that. Costs 22. Oh, that's nothing. That's fine. Staging is still fine. Yes. And let's see how far it'll get up. We're going to, of course, as usual, disable part failures. Because we know that we're running on the rated burn time, so all things considered, most of the time should work. It might not, then we'll just have to build a new one and do it again. Don't really care. And it's not like we're building sounding rockets and then ta-da, we can go into orbit and we start building orbital rockets. No, no. When we can build an orbital rocket, we will do that, and after that we're probably going to continue with sounding rockets because we still need to break more records. There we go, disabling part failures. Okay, stabilizing physics load. Okay, all good. And let's ignite. Okay, look good. And launch. Spinning up slightly, and launch spin boosters. There we go. Now we're spinning. Look at that dynamic pressure, it's going up. Ooh, it's high. We're keeping the pitch alright thanks to the spin. So all good. And yeah, we go. Ooh, high dynamic, very high dynamic pressure. Probably going to get above 80. Ooh, yeah. It's a lot of aerodynamic stress. Let's hope that it can take it alright. Probably the fin's going to be the most affected by it. It's dropping down again. We've been up this far before, and it's been okay. We're still keeping the pitch. We've not started wobbling. It's getting a bit hot up here. But should be okay. Yes, this is a sounding rocket telemetry unit. It has a skin temperature of 12 degrees. So that's fine. Let's see if we can catch the nose cone. There we go. That's a skin temperature of, well, 12 degrees. So really, that was just for show. We're about 40 kilometers now. Dynamic pressure's all gone because the atmosphere's not really existing a lot here. Getting ready to stage. We need to be very, very careful with the staging here. 1 second, 2 seconds. There we go. And it seems to be, yes, it's a good stage. Okay, I know you can't see anything. Neither can I. This is all just numbers. This is like playing spreadsheets in space. But if you look at our app apps, this is already 650 kilometers and we've still got 2000 LTV to burn. So let's just sit back, relax, enjoy it. And we're still pointing exactly straight up. That's just quite amazing, really. That assisted spin that we made really did a lot. Yeah, and we're in space now, so terminal velocity, oh no. Over 1,000 kilometers, and we've still got 1,000 LTV left to go. This is probably, no, it's not going to make it to 3,000 kilometers. It's going to make it to 2,000 though. Well, it should. But it's not. It's suffering badly from gravity losses. No. Typical, isn't it? Just a bit less than 2,000. And again, it doesn't pay off to put a tiny Tim on top of it. It weighs too much for what it gives. It's a good booster, but you can't use it as a kick stage. We're going to have to wait for the baby sergeant to do that. But I wonder, did it probably didn't take us to 5,000 meters per second. Oh yes, lots of these. But when it goes down, it will have. See, we'll take this, yeah, 4,900 meters per second. But going down, it will take us about 5,000. I don't know if there's actually a contract for this. 3,000. No, the next is 7,000. There isn't one for 5,000. That's just cheating. Because we're not going to get 7,000 meters per second. Not with this. But it does look the part though. And what we are going to do is we're going to revert to the editor. And this is the SR14. It's based on the Mjolnir 4. It's supposed to get us 1,900 kilometers. I'm just going to check the Mjolnir 4 here, it weighs 11.8 tons. It's a sounding rocket. Yes, it is. It's 4 fins, slightly rotated, and it's based off 1XA4, burning for 70 seconds at T+0, and 1XWAC Corporal, burning for 50 seconds at T+70. Yes, just like that. Okay. So, oh yes, and the VAB bugged out, but we're still going to build it. It's so cheap that we don't even care too much about this. I still want to break 2,000 kilometers. The question is, though, does it make sense to try to do it right now? It probably doesn't. Why, you ask? Because, see, 26 days on top of what is already a lot of days. It's going to be done at around year 1, day 230. Which is in 107 days. So we look at the tech. Long before that, we're going to get early orbital rocketry. So the Mjolnir 4 will, if we design such a one, or if we just base it on some other stage, it's not going to be based on the A4 engine. It's going to be based off the NAA 75-110, which is the evolvement of it. Because if we look at it, okay, let's look. 396 kilonewtons and 249 ISP. And, well, actually we can do it here. The engine is probably going to be, oh, there are some engines. No, it's not there. That engine. The A4, various tanks, cockpits, jet engines, prop engine, tiny Tim, shrouds, interface adapters. But where is the A4? I'm probably blind. Radial air intake. It's definitely not it. 9 stuff, normal aero parts. I'm quite possibly blind, but I can't seem to find it. There's one with a boat tail, okay. See, 312 kilonewtons and 239 ISP. So there's slightly higher ISP and a lot more thrust. And we can't see the rated burn time. I'll have to look that up in the CFG files because you can't scroll in here, which is really annoying. So there's a very good chance that I'm going to use the NAA-75-110 as my basis for the next sounding rocket after the A4. But we've got plenty to go here. And so the next firing up is the SR8, which is here. Oh yes, I promised I was going to fiddle with the SR11 and 12 because they probably had a barometer and I didn't want, no, probably both a barometer and a thermometer. And it made no sense to have those because we already took those where we're firing here, which is the KSC. Sorry, mine just slipped there for a bit. So here we go. Just gonna lift off the cap. Hello, R11. Yes, you have a thermometer, but I don't need you. Okay. And yes, I'm gonna save the edits. And also going to do the same for the SR30. No, the SR12. Why did the 11 go? Oh, just edited it. It went to the bottom. And SR12, we're going to do the same. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 7 sounding rockets building, and I'll be surprised if all of them are just a complete and utter success. So there's a very good chance we're going to have to rebuild them for another mission because, yeah, the WAC Corporal especially is not known for its reliability. Piece of junk. Let's get rid of the thermometer. No need to have it. Go. Save there, save edits. It's also going to shave a few hours off. I think what Construction Time bases its build points on is just purely how much a thing costs, but I'm not certain. I rarely am. So that was D12, you're just going to line up that where you belong. And the SR13, which is based on the Omnia 3, I'm going to edit you as well. See, we can rush build it, but we don't want to. It'll take off about 2 days, but cost us a lot of money. And we're in no rush, I mean... Time. Plenty of it, yeah? Going to be spending plenty of time researching techs. And it's not like we're... Well, I mean, after we get the early orbital rocketry, yes, we're going to try and send something up into orbit. Yes, it may fail a few times. Yes, we may have to rebuild it and send it up again. But ultimately, we'll have plenty of time before we unlock the next text before we can do anything. Okay, so I already did this. So, no point here, I'm going to cancel the edits. Okay, so I guess all that's left is just launching it. And mind you, we've also got a C1 stat coming up, the X1-1. That's in 26 days, so that's year 1, day 149. Launch vehicle 51. And the mission for that is, of course, to break the sound barrier crude. Plus 15 kilometers crude. It's going to be launched from the KSC. Yes. Okay. Well, it's pretty easy. Not too hard. I guess now we can just warp to the next rocket, the SR8. But before we do that, I actually, well, first of all, I went and slept for a night. Second of all, I updated test flight, which has fixed the bug we had with not accumulating data units. So now we've disabled parts always have maximum data, and I've also hacked my save file to give me the rough estimate of the missing data units I would have acquired from the first 7 flights of the WAC Corporal. So let's just go and have a look, see if that actually works. Well, the reason for me going and sleeping was because I'm tired, and the reason for not uploading the first part just as it was is because, well, we designed so many rockets I figured it would be a great idea if we also actually launched the buggers. Let's have a look at the engines here. See if we can see anything. We can't see anything here. Or what we can do is get it here and enable test flight mouse over a part in the bin or 3D quick view. Aha. Okay, so we're not actually going to... Oh, there we go. Yes, data units. Exactly, 8,672.3. Now that's exactly what I keyed in, so that's very good. Very, very good. And we should accumulate the rest of the data in the upcoming launches. So now we can start launching them. Woohoo! I've been looking forward to this. Well, actually, I like designing rockets more than I do launching them, but you sort of have to launch them before you can go about designing some more, don't you? Right, let's set. Next up is the SR8. I'm just going to check when the others are going to. No, we're going to be launching even the SR. Going to be launching the SR11 and 12 here as well, before we actually go and launch the SR9 and 10 from Vandenberg and Kodiak. And we're also, after this one, actually the next one up is the X1-1. Let's swap to this. Probably going to be a nighttime launch again, from what I could see. Yeah, even with, what, 3-hour rollout, it's not likely. Okay, so the SR8, this is the rocket that we tilted slightly east to get the temperatures from the shores and the ocean, from low and high atmosphere and low space. And that's all complete. Yes, it is. Yes, yes, it is indeed. Now we're going to have, of course, slightly less data units than if we ran with max data units, which is 10,000. So there is every chance it can fail, also because we're going above the rated burn time. But yeah, then we'll just have to rebuild it. Righty-ho, righty-ho. And yep, there we are, slight tilt east, looks really good. Zoom out because it's a noisy little bugger. Absolutely no use playing with the throttle because it's a 100% throttle, you can't throttle it at all, so just leave it anywhere except for zero. Zero means shut down the engine, and we only got one ignition, so no point in that. Let's just launch. I hope we get somewhere. There we go. And stage. Nice. Yes. No. Yes. So it sort of wants to right itself straight up, but it does tilt slightly, which is good. Been burning for 15 seconds without issues now. Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Let's see. And there's the KSC, or Cape Canaveral. See, we are ever so slightly tilting east, and yeah, actually seems to be just east. We are downrange distance, nearly a kilometre away. It's lovely. And we've not suffered super high dynamic pressure, which is also lovely. At least I think so. I didn't actually bother to check it. But probably not more than a bit over 40. We're actually below terminal velocity now as well. And here we hit the rated burn time. Yes, we do. Just before the rated burn time, it's set out. Shut down. So we're going to go to 61 kilometers. That will at least allow us to get low atmosphere and high atmosphere, hopefully over both shores and ocean. There we go. That's telemetry and temperature from shores. Oh, it's just while flying. There's no... It doesn't matter if it's... No, actually it should say upper atmosphere when we get above... Is it 50 kilometers? The question is, will we make it out over the ocean though? We don't know. But there we go, upper atmosphere. Yes. More science. It's gonna hit. The only thing you can do here is acknowledge it. With test flight we are going to do that because we know it's there. It's gonna pop it behind. And let's see if we make it out over the ocean. It doesn't look like it because not really tilting that far. Just barely make out the shoreline here. And I don't know how far out the ocean starts. But we've nearly hit our apoapsis and we're going to go down. So what we're of course going to do is we're just going to build another one of these. To get the actual science we want. Because we want the science and we want the money from getting the science from new biomes. We're going down again. We're going to make it over the ocean. Well, not in the upper atmosphere at least. We're back from the lower, and that's going to give us money. Still shores. I have science alert set up to stop the warp whenever we get to some science we can catch. I wonder if it works with physics warp. Go. Yeah. Oop. Let's see. Okay, so just for this was a... Well, we're going to call it a full failure. Apoapsis of 60 kilometers. Maximum speed of 874 meters per second. And stage 0. Engine 1 shut down at T plus 61 seconds. What a shame. So... There we go. We did get shores from both low and upper atmosphere, but we didn't get ocean, and we didn't get space on. We didn't get any ocean. We didn't get space for shores. So we're going to make another rocket called the SR-15. Which is going to be launched on Mjolnir 1C, and mission description will be pretty much like the SR-8 we just launched, the SR-8 mission. Temperature from ocean low and high atmosphere plus low space plus shores low space. Yes. KSC and select till these. I'm just doing my bookkeeping, so whenever I go and actually have to launch this, I know what it's going to do. I'm going to take the SR-8, and we're just going to build another one of them, and then we're going to rename them. Shouldn't be too hard. The only question is, do I want to actually move this up in the food chain ahead of the SR-11? Which is launching on the Mjolnir 2. I might do, actually, because this is going to give me more money. So here we are. Do I trust this is an SR-8? No, I don't. Trust that's an SR-8 from test flight. No, from Kerbal construction time. I want the one that in my save file, just to be certain. I just don't trust it. Okay, that's good. We're just going to build it. And yeah, if we go here and we hover over the WAC corporal, we've gotten some more data units. It gave us a whopping 800 data units. That's good. Okay. Okay. VAB SR8? No, I don't think so. I think more like SR15. I also think that the SR15 should be the next rocket we launch. So we're just going to move it up here. Of course, that means we need to do more bookkeeping about when everything's ready. So this is ready in 17 days. Which will be day 1, 5, 6. Yeah, day 1, 5, 6. But then that also means that everything else is moved, because that means the SR11 is another 20 days after that, so that makes it 177 actually. And the SR12 is another 21 days after that. Day 198. SR13 is another 21 days after that, making it 15. Finally, the SR14 will be 26 days later. That's day 245. Okay. Great. Okay. But next up is not the SR15. It's the X1. Well, I think this should be, yeah, 66 days away. Still a while away. So, X1, yeah. Look for that. It's going to be a nighttime launch, but don't worry, we're not going to launch it at nighttime. It'll be there still, so we're just going to launch it during the daytime. Because it's much nicer to fly during daytime. Can't see anything here. Question is, what's next morning? Does that even work? Well, we've got plenty of time, so why not try it? Yes, it somewhat does. Yes, it does actually. That's lovely. Lovely, okay. Well, we can go and launch our X1 then. Okay, let's launch. Ernest Hopkins. Yes, Ernest, you shall be the one to break the sound barrier. Launch. There we go. Okay, mission description is quite clear. We need to break 15 kilometers and break the sound barrier crude for the contract we picked up. And we didn't pick up the X-planes low because it makes no sense. It would have us stay for 1 minute, I think it is, or 3 minutes, can't remember, at something like between 5 and 6 kilometers, and we don't want to do that. We want to break records. So the way we're going to do this is pretty simple. We're just gonna let it load. Sinking in. Well, it should be okay. We're going to turn on the autopilot. Master switch. Yes, we're going for standard fly-by-wire. And basically we're just gonna take off, pitch up to 45 degrees, go to 15 kilometers, level out, and get it. Okay, one thing I want here is well, we're going to get 5, 10 and 15 kilometers, and we're going to get the cruise speed record of 350 meters per second, and we're going to get this for over a minute. Okay, let's start off now. From what I recall from our sims, we actually need to be above 100 meters per second before we can perform our initial roll, which was a bit surprising to me. There we go, and let's get that nose up. There we go. Let's pitch up to 45. 47, 45.5, and we're still increasing speed. Okay, we can get a crew report from the Earth's grasslands. We're going to transmit that. We have antennas here because the cockpit cannot send any data for some reason, because that out there, that's not an antenna. Definitely not. Anything but an antenna. So whopping 1.3 science. Oh yes, by the way, we did get, yes, and this is probably the this guy, what's that doing there? Science from new biome, Earth shores. Yes, we did get that when we launched the SR8. We're probably going to get science from the Earth's oceans now with this one. Okay, that's one complete. There we go, 5 kilometers. Just keeping it up. Plenty and plenty of fuel for this. Our thrust to weight ratio is actually above 1, so we could go just straight up now if we wanted to. But we don't. We quite like this. And we're approaching 10 kilometers, ready for another one? Yes, thank you very much. And once we get to 15, we'll level out. Once we get to 14, we might as well start leveling out. And here we go, shores again. Didn't we? No, that was grasslands we had before. Okay. Of course, now I wasn't really paying attention. And I've not even retracted the gears. Go me. Okay. Let's level out. We can hit caps lock to do minor controls. You can see now they've changed to blue down here, and we can just ever so slightly pitch now. Going to do it in a lot smaller increments. There we go. Okay, we are working on it. We're at, yes, hold it, 40 seconds. Well, that shouldn't be a problem, holding it for 40 seconds, because we're going to go about 550 meters per second by the time. See, the dynamic pressure is pretty high actually, 29-30. That's why if we were to go even faster than this, we'll go, yeah, we are going to go a lot faster. If we wanted to go even faster than this, we need to get higher, and the next mission after this is to go to 20 kilometers. Okay, crew report and telemetry from the Earth's water, and that means money in the bank. It also means 9 seconds, 8 seconds, even though we are still flying here. Yes, let's see, contract complete. Yes, we did. And yeah, very nice. And there we go, now we just need to land. We're just going to wait until we get subsonic here. We might already be actually. The Mach, no, the Mach is still above 1. Just going to wait. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to, oh no, ooh, I was yawing there, I didn't want that. Okay. Going to turn off fine controls and flip it gently around. So we point back towards the KSC. Surface speed isn't changing, that's okay, that's fine. Slowly we're dropping at about 85. That's increasing, but as soon as we level out, it's going to be okay. We are going to a heading of 270. We can see the KC over here, so it's a bit more than 270, perhaps 280 something. Oh, what happened there? Okay. And we can see our pitch is going up again, so we're losing less vertical speed, but we're losing more horizontal speed. That's okay. We're just going to eyeball the KSC. Also, we don't need fire anymore. What we do want is just to check the parachute system too. Oh, there we go. Pointing there right about now. Just pull it back. And there we go. The autopilot module manager adjusts it to 0 roll. Which is fine. And we're pointing a bit down. Slowly losing ground speed. And losing just a bit of vertical speed. That's fine. And basically we know that this is going to take a total of about 13-14 minutes, so feel free to skip ahead about 8 minutes until we land. Let's just check what we set up the what we checked. We set these to activate at 2,000 meters. Pre-deployment, well, might as well. We don't have air brakes or anything on this, so the only thing we can do is actually to go, if we want to land very close to the KSC, this is probably going to overshoot it as it is. We'd dive down as we get a bit closer, and then we're just basically going to pull up and get into pretty much a stall to lose, we'll dive down to lose our altitude, and that's going to give us more speed, and then we just pull up to drop the speed, flaring. And we don't mind if we go into a stall because we're going to fire, or we're going to use the parachutes anyway to land. We're not going to land on these wheels because I'm just not good enough for that. Just going to adjust it slightly here. And flying over the Earth's grasslands. Yes, they sure look like grasslands from here. The surface speed is pretty stable now, while our pitch is low. Okay, what you can see, what the autopilot module manager does, because this one is just going to tip down and fall over, and that would not be good. So what it does is you can actually see it's actually pitching up, and it's pitching up quite a lot, and you can see that reflected here, because this is our pitch control. So that's what the autopilot module manager does to keep it stable. It's a fly-by-wire system. It makes I wouldn't say my plane is necessarily unstable, but it's probably not the most stable in the world, aerodynamically speaking. Especially not since, well, yeah, okay, now both fuel tanks are of course empty, so it doesn't matter much. But you can, it's probably a bit like, say, a Eurofighter Typhoon, which can only really be controlled by a computer because the computer does all the fine control adjustments, while we don't. So 9.5 kilometers, and we're getting closer. I'm going to drop down a bit further, going to a steeper dive. 9.5 degrees seems fine. We can see our surface speed is increasing, our vertical is dropping though, that's fine. We like that. And our antennas lived. I have actually seen test flight kill them off. That's why we have 2 of them. The interesting thing is, this cockpit actually has telemetry. I wonder if it can be flown uncrewed then. Not that I'd want to. It's fine. Okay. I'm gonna yaw a bit to the left here again. Just heading a bit. There we go. Ernest is looking a bit scared, I don't know why. He should be doing fine. Let's turn a bit. Now this actually, a roll would not normally turn us, but it is now because the autopilot module manager is plane with us. We're also going to pitch up a bit. This dive's a bit too steep now. I don't like that. Go. Let's... Do we arm the parachutes? No, shouldn't. Don't actually want to. Let's pull up a bit. Perform a roll the other way. Very steep, lovely roll. Just going to check far to make sure that we're not stalling or anything. We aren't. It's a very stable plane. I'm actually quite surprised at myself. And it's gliding very, very well. Perhaps the wings are too big. Okay. Yeah, we're going to arm the parachutes there. That was me pressing 2. So arm the parachutes. And there we go. They are now being deployed. We still have ground speed, so we can still somewhat control this. Not entirely sure why the autopilot module manager is knocking my pitch down all the way. So I'm just gonna turn it off. And contracts window, there we go. And you are off. There we go. Okay, here's the actual deployment. I'm going to deploy the landing gear, and we're going to land pretty much in some of the strategy office. Oh dear. As you can see, we have very little surface speed. Well, horizontal speed. It's vertical. It's just dropping straight down. Physics warp down a bit. We are going to land a tail first. Just outside the strategy building. Probably should have paid a bit more attention to this, but I didn't. And I hope this means it does not break. I really don't want true altitude. There we go. 6 warping, and we are going to land right beside it. Oh, that's a beauty. That is a beauty, and we're going to land on the engine, but we're going so slow that it shouldn't really matter. There we go. That is a tight landing. If I ever saw one. There we go. Just a bit of a lag spike. Brakes on. And... well... this is where I could just recover the vessel. I'm not going to. Go away. There we go. What I'm going to is I'm going to recover it to the spaceplane hangar. Yes. I could also recover it to the VAB, but that makes no sense. I'm going to recover this. Now, it works, but it also sort of doesn't. But let's just, before we do that, let's just see, what did you tell me here? You told me that probably have a new strategy available. Oh, not just one, but 2. And a lot of money for breaking the sound barrier crude, which is lovely. Absolutely lovely. Test flight says that the XLR-11 is apparently not, I thought it was, but it's not affected by test flight whatsoever. Well, okay. Nonetheless, we're going to recover it to the spaceplane hangar here, and I'm going to show you what that means and what that does. There we go. We can recover it. We still get the normal mission complete menu, but what it actually does is it makes some sort of phantom vessel thingy, which is based on the current state of this one, which means that the XLR-11 engine, which has 4 ignitions, in the one we get in the spaceplane hangar will only have 3 because we already used 1. The fuel tanks will be empty as well, and Ernest has some new ribbons. Single mission, significant contract, absolutely. Multiple contracts, yes, he did get that. He got 5 actually. He got 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers, 350 meters per second, and breaking the sound barrier crew, that's 5. And we get recovered parts money apparently. Oh, we have a lot of money. And Ernest got an experience. Let's check here. It's currently working on vessel recovery for 17 hours, which is just the most basic refurbishing of it. So if we just warp here till that's complete, we can go straight out and launch it again. That would be very stupid because it hasn't got any fuel. So what we are going to do is we're going to edit it. And this is where things are going to look funny. Yes? Where's our craft? Well, it isn't. It's somewhere outside, and I don't know how to get hold of it. I really don't. I think this was probably designed for the VAB, because what you can't see right now, because of course you can't see it, is that it will be vertical instead of horizontal, which is useless. But so what we're going to do, also fill tanks doesn't really work with real fuels for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. What we can do, and the only thing we can do right now, is cancel the edits. And then launch it as it is, and then recover it again, and then it should be in the space plane hangar proper. So if we go here, space plane hangar, launch. It's gonna size limit exceeded. Okay, great. So we right now have a very big issue which is very interesting actually. Anything? No? Well. Okay. I've seen this bug reported. It may not be the same bug, but I have seen some issues with size limits, which means I don't actually know what we can do right now. I'll need to figure something out. Just gonna see if we're any more lucky. I don't think we will be. I think we will definitely not be. I'm also going to check my save file for the X1. Yes, it's KCT vessel. Yes. So this exists in a sort of pseudo. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna. There's no reason for you to watch the spaceplane hangar while I check this save file, so I'm just gonna stop the recording here for a bit and then get back to it. Okay, so I went and did something very risky. I manually edited the save file to change the position of the damn bugger, and now we can see it hanging through the roof. I'm not going to explain to you exactly how to do this because it's very, very risky, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're likely to just completely break everything. But in the Kerbal Construction Time forum thread on page 82, about halfway down, there is a post, or a couple of posts discussing how to do it and what's being done about it. It's a known problem. It only happens from time to time. It doesn't happen all the time. It almost always hangs up vertically, even though you recover it to the space plane hanger. But it's probably not going to be fixed for a while. The author of Kerbal Construction Time is quite rather busy now, and I don't suspect that he'll do anything before, at least before 1.1 comes out. And even then it'll be a while, but hopefully it'll be fixed in the future. But now we can at least shift click it and drag it down, and now it's even turned around the right way. And it seems that my editing has been okay. So here we are. It's now in a working state, sort of. You can see 3 remaining ignitions. It normally has 4, but now it only has 3. What we want to do though is we want to refill our tanks with ethanol and liquid oxygen, not just that tank, but this tank as well. And see, the only thing we've actually changed about this is we filled up the tanks. We don't need to do anything else. Our parachutes are doing fine as well. But, yes, let's turn it off. It only takes 18 minutes to turn it around, so we can send it up immediately. I mean, it took, what was it, 10 hours, 15 hours to recover it. And then it only takes 18 minutes to refill it, and we should be able to send it off again. Hoping, of course, that we don't suffer the block where it says it exceeds the sizes, because it shouldn't. At least not now it's here, inside the spaceplane hangar. The difference between this and recovering it with the normal recover option is Kerbal Construction Time sort of supports both. If you do the normal recovery, what you do is you get all of the items here, all of the parts added to your inventory. Can we? No, we can't see the inventory here. We could go and see it afterwards, which means it'll take the existing parts and use that to build, which makes it cheaper to build and it makes it faster to build. But it will still take, I don't know, 20 days to build, rebuild it when just recovering the parts, as opposed to recovering the entire vessel. But the problem with recovering the entire vessel, of course, is it will sometimes go through the roof and you won't be able to do much about it. So let's just save this and we can relaunch it, and we might as well just do that. We might as well just relaunch it. The mission description for the X1-2, which we shall also rename it to, and it's on the Y1 launch platform, is to get to, shall we say, 25 kilometers? 25 kilometers crewed. Seems about right. If we look at the contracts that we can get, we can get a supersonic. We would need to maintain 425 to 625 between 12 and 4,000 meters for 3 minutes. That's actually going to be an issue. We can't do that. We don't have the burn time for that to get up there and then maintain it for that. You can see we got to 15,000 meters and then accelerated, and we did get to nearly 600. We got to 580 meters per second or so. But when the engines cut out, and they did, we only had 45 seconds more burn time when we got there. We started decreasing speed really rapidly, and we will again. So I don't think there's much hope in this one. Well, if we look at the crude, okay, speed record of 600 meters per second. That's probably possible if we go to, say, what we also saw is at 15 kilometers, once we got above, I don't know, 450 meters per second or so, really high dynamic pressure, which makes acceleration really hard to achieve, so we need to get higher. We could probably get up to 18-20 kilometers or so, and then hopefully boost it, but we don't know yet. What we're going to do now is we're going to get crude altitude record of 20 kilometers, and I hope there's one for 25 as well, because we're going to go for that. And we're not going to take any of the actual contracts, we're just going to do the world firsts. And we're of course, see, this will be done in just 49 minutes. Oh yes, of course, when I said 18 minutes, that was with build points at 0.4 build points per second, but we don't have that. 0.15 in the spaceplane hangar. I just didn't update the display. We also sadly don't have any more free upgrades available. What we do have is a fair amount of money. Now we could toss them after upgrades, or we could not. In this case, I'm going to go with not, because what I want to do is I want to upgrade our launch pad, and I want to upgrade it as soon as possible. Because let's go in here. Let's check. We're currently working on early orbital rocketry. That's fine. Our launch pad supports 40 tons. The initial rocket we're going to send up to orbit is not going to weigh 40 tons. But when we get the basic orbital rocketry and we get the proper parts here, the LR-87s and the 79s and the 89s and 91s and the Agena, that's about the time when we're going to start to see some really big crafts, 200, 300 tons. I'm not sure, I haven't really played with the American engines here. I usually go with the RD-107 and RD-108, which is of the R7 series of rockets, the Russian ones, and basically a nice R7 booster stage containing one RD-108 and 4 liquid boosters with RD-107s. That alone weighs 275 tons. And those are the ones that we're going to use to take us to the moon and to get us proper orbits, polar orbits, etc. So we need to upgrade it. It'll be a while, I admit, before we get to basic orbital rocketry. We do want a couple of other things before we get there. Early construction, I don't care really too much about early construction, except for one tiny detail which makes it worth it. The procedural diameter upgrade. And it is only 5 sides, so it is going to be pretty cheap. So we are going to research it. We're working on early orbital rocketry, and then we'll do early construction. And why does it say it's already researched? What bugged up there? It's not supposed to do that. Let's close. Let's have a look at this. Early construction. Yes, 84 days. Let's go back in. Okay, good. That was a display bug. I don't know. I've just installed some quick search tools here. That might be causing it. I'm not sure. But after early construction, we want the early avionics. Why do we want that? Because we get the Geiger counter and we get the micrometeorite detector and the early guidance unit. Those are nice. We need those. We might even, I think there's something bugged about the, no, that's not the Able, that's the Thor avionics package. I can't remember. But we also get a couple of cores here. As you can see, Sputnik 1, Vanguard 1, Vanguard 2, Vanguard 3, Sputnik PS1, which is a different one, and the Pro Core, which is an X-ray detector as well. And the Explorer 1, which was the first one to be launched into orbit by the United States. Right, so that's going to be after this, and we're still 16. So what we're going to go for after this, no, we have, that would be basic orbital rocketry. As it stands now, we'll look at the tech. Well, so it's going to be 140 and 170, 310 days as it stands now, plus another 170 for the basic orbital rocketry, or whatever it's called. It's 480 days. How long is this going to take to upgrade? Well, probably a long time, at least a year. Let's just do it now. See, that's going to take even longer. Okay. This will go down. Why? Because the upgrades here, the build time is affected by the amount of build points you sunk into the VAB and the spaceplane hangar, and I am going to sink in more as I get more money. So we are going to see it decrease in time when we sink some more money into it. But oh well, all in good time. Let's walk to the next morning and let's relaunch the X1, which is now the X1-2. It is always no, I didn't want to edit it. It's always a bit of a naming vessels and things like that. I name them after my missions, even though the launch vehicles are something else. So the plane is actually called the Y1, but the mission is called the X1-2, and with this one it's actually the same plane as that flew the X1-1, but still I name them after my missions, and that's just the way I do it. Other people do it otherwise, that's fine. Oh, I forgot to do my data entry here and say that the first X1-1 was an astounding success. Okay, let's... we were going to rename this, we weren't going to edit it, just rename it. Nothing major. There we go, save. And let's walk to the next morning, when this should also be done, and we should be able to see where we're flying. And there we go. Okay. If my save file edits were proper, then this should fly again. If not, well, it's gonna all end in tears. We're gonna do the same as before, pitch up to 45 degrees, and then we're just gonna keep going until we reach 25 kilometers, which we hopefully will do, but I'm not certain. When we reach 15 kilometers, we only have about 1 minute left of fuel. I'm not sure that's gonna take us last bit here, but yeah, let's launch. And Ernest, no, not Ernest this time, we're going to go with Judy. There we go. Actually, let's just see. Judy's not that stupid, but somewhat courageous, which is good. Okay, fingers crossed now. I can't even remember what the burn time is we have right now. Well, come on. Load. Cross fingers. Okay, so we have a burn time of 3 minutes. Oh yeah, and it already starts out. And we're just going to tap the brakes and it should go. There we go. Okay, that's another thing of Kerbal Construction Time. It remembers your throttle position roughly, or your staging. So here we go. Hopefully, yeah, we're gonna make it. Let's flip up. Oh yeah, and one thing I forgot, which I always forget. Let's just keep it here while we get the master switch on. Oh, there we go. Gear up and pitch up to 45 degrees. There we go. And we're still gaining speed. Okay. Right, what I was saying, let's just keep this one up here. What I was actually saying, contracts window, you can go bugger off. Okay. I think what I was saying was we have 3 minutes of burn time. We've spent the first minute getting up to 3,500 meters per second, or 4,000. The next is going to get us up to 15, so there is a good chance that we can make it to 25, because of course we'll be going a lot faster by the time we get up there, because we'll be much lighter, the atmosphere will be thinner as well, so not so much drag. We'll look at it here, our dynamic pressure is not too high, which is good. That was one of the things we suffered when we just leveled out at 15 kilometers. So we're just going to maintain this 45 degree climb, and we're going to maintain it until we get to 25 kilometers. And let's see, so that's 30 seconds for the next 5 kilometers from 4 to 9 kilometers. Yeah, should be doable. Should be doable. 3 kilometers in 15 seconds. And for the next one, yeah. The only thing that might mess it up is, and we need to pay attention here, is whether or not we can maintain this pitch. Or we're going to lose, or we're going to stall. Which reminds me, we should bring up the far window. Okay, 18, 19 kilometers, and we got 42 seconds. Yes, we're going to make it to 25 unless we stall, and I don't think we should. We also broke the sound barrier. Very nice job, Judy, even though you're scared stiff. 22 kilometers, and we've got another 30 seconds to go, and we're increasing in speed. Our thrust to weight ratio is fine, and we're not stalling. Everything's good. 25. There we go. 20 seconds. Can we make it to 30? If we do, wow. You see, we're going really fast now, and we're not really suffering from dynamic pressure at all. The atmosphere is very thin up here. 29, 30. Yes, we got it. Might as well just keep climbing, see how far we can get. There we go. And level out ever so slightly. Leveling out. Dropping speed. See, we also broke 600 meters per second very easily. We got to nearly 700. Let's just hit F3, see how much we got to. No, we actually got to 727. So Mach 2. Well, somewhat above Mach 2 actually. So that's a fair amount of records. Oh yes. Let's see. Contract complete. We got to 40 kilometers. Oh yes. Just by sheer ballistics. Now you can see here the autopilot module manager is doing everything it can to pitch us up. Let's just see if we can level it out. This is going to strain us pretty bad. Okay. We didn't go for 45 because I don't think we will have enough to do that. As you can see here, it's struggling so hard to keep us going, and we're actually increasing in speed right now because we're going slightly down, even though, yeah, I could change, I could change the control here, be harder, but let's just go into this dive and see when we can level out. This is a rather steep dive, 30 degree, 31, it's getting worse. But we're still flying over Mach 2. I don't know if we can actually, I'm going to increase the deflection here. Well, the strength of the pitch here. Because this is a nasty dive. And we just don't have the wind under our control surfaces to actually properly pull up. As you can see, the autopilot module manager is trying desperately to maintain it. We're going Mach 2.5. We're over 700 meters per second. I don't know if our craft is going to, because these wings and control surfaces are not rated for supersonic flight. We're going over Mach 2 now. We're down to 17 kilometers. We're going very, very fast. And I just want to level out a bit. Now you can see we're suffering drag. That's good. That means at least we're slowing down. Also, that means I'm going to reduce it back to 50. There we go. Okay, and we're now subsonic, and we're at 13 kilometers. So we're going to turn around. Let's roll over and start turning. Okay. So as far as things go, this is a resounding success. I mean, we wanted to break 25 kilometers. We didn't expect to break 600 meters per second. But what we did was we broke 40 kilometers and 727 meters per second. Once we turn around, we're going to check all the contracts we've completed, and we're going to see how much money we made off it. But all in all, I am very, very pleased with this one. Also, especially because it went to Mach 2.5 with these subsonic control surfaces. Yeah, I think the KSC somewhere. Yeah, I can see something blinking over here. That's usually the KSC. Just gonna eyeball it roughly. Where's that? That seems okay. And leveling out. Okay, so let's see how much we got. 40 kilometers, that gave us 1,000. 30 also gave us something. 600 meters per second, 2,000. Ooh, nice. And that gives us some more strategies that are available, and crude altitude record of 25 and 20. Okay, so this is above all expectations. Absolutely. No doubt about it. We can tell far to bugger off now, we don't need it. What I would like to see is from the contracts window here, what would be the next step for something crewed? Well, the crew count record of 1 crew, yes, but that's if you're in orbit or on a suborbital or an escape trajectory. We're not suborbital, and it'll be a while before we are. We've got all these crude altitude records. The next one up is 50 kilometers. That's also a bit away. And yeah, for 1 day, no, definitely not going to. Next up is 900 meters per second. We also won't be able to do that. Well, unless of course we went to 25 kilometers and then leveled out. But I dare not. That's Mach 3. With these wings, I dare not. I dare not. So basically, what this means is, as for the Y1, which this is, we can do, well, what can we do with it? We could retire it. That's an option. It's not a bad option. We could also probably go and, I don't know, we could use it just to get some X-Plane low contracts, but they're boring and they don't pay that much. So I'm not really sure I want to do that. What I want to do is roll a bit further over towards the KSC. See it just here in the background. Yes. Yes. That's a bit too much. There we go. Pitch up a bit, please. There we go. 7.5 degrees. The question is if we're actually going to make it back, because we did go into a very, very steep dive. Because we didn't have much control up there in the hypersonic region, or well, supersonic. I don't know. Where do we go from super to hyper? I'll have to look that up. So we can either retire it, or we can use it for some X-Plane contracts. It's not going to set any more records. Not unless I launch it on top of a rocket. And I'm not going to. I could stretch it close, make a Y1B or Y1A, stretch it, and I'm not really going to do that either. I want to pitch up a bit more. Like 5, yeah. So 5.5 kilometers up, using 20 meters per second, and we're pretty far away. So what are we going to do about it? I don't know, we might just retire it and wait until we get the X-15 parts. Or we could pay a fortune for the supersonic wings and control surfaces. Don't want to do that. That's going to be 10,000 apart. I don't want the all-moving wing, stop that. And then I can launch it on top of a rocket and get it far up. The X1 cockpit is also, well, I think it's only rated for Mach 3 flight. Check when we get back, but look at our resources here. With plenty of oxygen, barely used any. And we've been flying for 10 minutes. So, should have enough for about 2 hours. Well, I could launch it on top of a rocket if I got some better wings. It's going to be a tricky proposition because having these big wings up there ahead of the rocket is going to mean that your our center of drag is going to be quite far ahead of our center of mass, which has a tendency to make it want to flip over. But of course we do have control surfaces to sort of help us prevent that. But planes, they do bore me so. Bore me so. Releasing 17 meters per second. Vertical speed, that is 3,500, and downrange distance 67 kilometers. So really 67 kilometers out. Flying this far. I'll have to do some math. See how fast that is. So we're doing about 500 kilometers an hour, which means we need to be flying for about 8 minutes. But in 8 minutes, that's 500 times. Yeah, it's probably going to be 8 kilometers. I don't think we're going to make it back. So we're going to have to do a splashdown. Well, Judy, you're going to splash down. That's the way it is. We can try to just pitch up to see how much speed we lose if we have if we fly completely horizontal like so. 0-degree pitch. We're losing a lot of speed on this. And even with our 0-degree pitch, we are losing altitude. It's just only 3 meters per second. But we're losing speed so fast. And 2.5 kilometers up. I really can't see us making it back. Downrange distance 50 kilometers. You can see the downrange distance. It is going lower and lower, but still most likely way too far out from the KSC to land anywhere near it, and we're going to do a splashdown instead. But I guess it's time to make a decision on whether or not we want to keep this plane, or if we want to retire it, we should just use the normal recover option up here. If we don't, well, probably use KCT recovery. But yeah, Judy's now the fastest Kerbal in the world. As well as the one that's been up highest. 40 kilometers. 40... how much? 44.7. Yeah. We might as well just arm our parachutes. There we go, pressing 2 to arm the parachutes. They'll be deploying very, very soon. There we go, parachute in the face. And just prepare for the splashdown. The inevitable splashdown, because... yeah. Can't do much. Well, I suppose that's the end of the X1 program. I don't really want to do X-plane low contracts. to walk through this. Splashdown. Don't want to sit for 100 seconds watching it. Much rather just do it for 25 seconds. Though we could use it. We could send it up from Vandenberg, for example, and have it go over the mountains. But do we want to do that? No, I'll probably just want to try and get that with the sounding rockets, because that can get also, that should be able to get both the lower and the upper atmosphere, and hopefully space. So no, let's just retire this. I don't want to. I guess I could use it to get the low atmosphere biological experiment. No, we're going to make a dedicated sounding rocket for biological experiments in time. In time. There we go. Lovely splash. Well, there we go. That seemed very nice. I wonder if that was the autopilot module manager messing that up. But here we are, splashdown. Recover. There we go. And retire the damn thing. Also, flying's just so boring, but we did get a bit of science from a vessel that survived the flight. Yes, lovely. And we got some money back, and an XP, and operational service, and splashdown ribbon, and G-Force 3. Oh, yeah, suffered 3 Gs of acceleration. Nice. And multiple contacts. Okay, very nice. Okay, so don't want to bother about that anymore. See, go here. Yeah. We're just going to go and launch the SR-15. Let's see, this was yeah, on day 150 we launched this, and it was a sounding success. So, in some days, 16 hours, there'll be the SR-15, which is basically what the SR-8 was. It's the SR-8 didn't get nearly enough science because the bloody engine cut out. Which is, I admit, not surprising. Let's roll it out. Go. 3 hours. Oh, that means we get a lovely daytime launch. Okay. It's at the launch pad, and we're just going to launch it. So, the SR-15, temperature from ocean low, and high atmosphere, and lower space, and shores low space. Hopefully. Hopefully. Which is why it's also tilted slightly east, but again, it's got a 75-second burn time, whereas the engine's only rated for 50 seconds, so there's every chance of failure. We'll just check test flight and see that yes, we are now gaining data units. We have 9,520, which is good. Okay, and we needn't do anything else. Everything's good. So let's just launch. There we go. And stage. Maybe I stage a wee bit early. I'm not too sure. Like half a second early. Uncertain. Yeah, dynamic pressure 34, above 40, far will call it high dynamic pressure. It is climbing still, but it's not actually climbing too fast. It looks okay. It has 75-second burn time, which means that we've done the first 35 seconds now. 40. Dynamic pressure's taken off now, or lowering, that's good. There we go, 50 seconds. Okay, so now we're above the rated burn time. And we've gotten the last data units we needed. See, Oh, we have a loss of thrust. But how's that going to affect it? It's slightly wobbly. I mean, we still have about 2.6 thrust to weight ratio. So we have a loss of thrust, and it just means the burn time will actually be longer. It goes, loss of thrust takes it to 50% of the normal thrust. It's a bit wobbly. Apoapsis. Are we going to get into space like this? Yes, if we just... Yes, we are. Again. 170. Yes. So even though we have a loss of thrust, this is still going to be a success. Hopefully, if we make it out over the ocean. Which we don't know if we will. First up is getting shores from space. Of course, ocean won't give us any money now because we already sent back data science from the X1 mission, X1-1 mission. But that's okay. We don't get science, and we like science. Ah, isn't that pretty? Yeah, we're going to acknowledge this. Might as well just do a bit of bookkeeping. I'll do bookkeeping when we get down. And getting ready for some science. No, we're in grasslands now. Ugh. Stupid. This is not grasslands, this is water. Water means it's shores. Directly down there. Shoreline here? Yeah. Okay, see? Okay. I'm going to time accelerate because science alert should stop time acceleration if we get out into shores again. Space, and we do. Thank you. Thank you so much. So this is water. This is not shores. Very interesting. Oh, now it changed textures. Only at 165 kilometers. I don't know, maybe it's the latest real solar system update, but it does look pretty, doesn't it? Not here. Oh, it's just clouds over there over the Caribbean. First that's Cuba. We are 53 kilometers downrange. And we send off our science, so we're going to time warp. Get down into the atmosphere again. This does look very odd. Yep, upper atmosphere over the ocean. Yes. And we'll get at least the temperature from the lower atmosphere over the ocean because telemetry was done by the X1 cockpit for some reason. I don't know why, but that's fine. Fine by me. This is also a new altitude record. I think the old one was 160-ish. Let's see. 152 kilometers. It's the highest we've been until now, which is 173-ish. Okay, let's time accelerate until we get down. Yeah. Now it's starting wobbling and it'll flip over very soon and start pointing downwards. There we go. Temperature. Okay. So that's oceans all done. Now, uploading data is not affected by time warp, so it won't upload faster or transmit faster if you time warp. So that's why I never time warp when I'm transmitting data. But now we're done with the whole transmission and send it off again. But we didn't get Earth shores from upper space, or from the lower space rather, which is a bit annoying. And I want to try and figure out if I should rectify that. But there's a good chance that actually that the rocket up at Kodiak will sort that, because it's launching on a small island, so there'll be loads of shores around. Ooh. What I was saying during that massive splash was that Kodiak is surrounded by loads of shores, so it's because it's an island, so fine. Okay, just going to do the bookkeeping. It was, after all, a success. We had an abscess of 173 kilometers and a maximum speed of 1510 meters per second. Oh, which probably means we broke the 1500 meter speed record uncrewed, which is fine. And we had a stage 1 in, stage 0, engine 1, loss of thrust at T plus 58 seconds. Well, loss of thrust isn't too bad compared to having a complete shutdown. Have we actually? Yes, we had something above 900 before, but this is the first one above. So probably got both 12 and 1500. I don't know if there are world firsts for both of them. There might be. There might be. Let's just see what contracts we. Yeah, must have. Yes, because we have new. Ooh, free ice cream. Yeah, 1500 and uncrewed altitude of 160. Okay. Next one's up. 1,000 meters per second. This rocket should be able to get that. So as long as we got 2 more using the 1C from Mattenberg and Kodiak, but actually before those fly, what we'll be flying is the SI-11, which is based on Mjolnir 2. The Mjolnir 2 was which one of them? Was that the one with 3 engines? I think it might have been. Let's go and check what the SR-11 looks like. Nope, actually, I can just go and check my launch vehicles. The Mjolnir 2 uses 3 Tiny Tims, 3 WC Corporals. Right, it's the Mjolnir 3 that has an extra stage with a sort of a Mjolnir 1C on top of a Mjolnir 2. And the Mjolnir 2 has uses the rated burn time of 50 seconds. Should get us to 350 kilometers. The Mjolnir 2A uses the extended 76 burn time, 76 seconds burn time, and should get us above 530, and should definitely both of them should get us above 2,000 meters per second, if they don't break down, which they probably will. They're annoying. Okay, I'm gonna call it here for now, yeah, let's just say that this is the end of this episode, and then we'll come back in the next episode, fire our next sounding rockets, and get our early orbital rocketry, hooray hooray, and hopefully get something into orbit. So see you next time.